Alright? My name's Max. I'm a 21-year-old lad from Liverpool whose three main passions in life are Rick and Morty, cheesy what's it butties, and me pet lizard, Charizard. Now, like a lot of people, I've had loads of ups and downs over the past year or so, but the one thing I've weirdly liked is the 2-meter rule. Because when it comes to meeting and greeting people, I'm not really a touchy-feely kind of guy. I used to think my anxiety around social touch was because I was born in the wrong body. But even while transitioning, I'm still finding those moments, well, awkward. Especially with other lads. I just didn't realise how many greetings there were. But after talking to me lab mates about it, I was relieved to find out that it wasn't just me. And loads of them have experienced social anxiety about it at some point. They just don't talk about it. So with that in mind, I present to you Max's guide to touchy-feely social interaction for lads everywhere, and also people on the more masculine end of the gender spectrum. Okay, so the first greeting is an easy one, and doesn't actually involve any touch at all. And it's everybody's favourite. The nod. Also known as letting on. Dead easy, a quick upward motion of the head and hands firmly in pocket. Both people swiftly walk away and get on with the rest of their lives. Works well for those people you have to walk past a few times a day at work or college, and especially effective for that kid you spot in the Aldi that you sort of half recognise from an egg and spoon race in year 6. So far, so easy. Next up is a timeless classic, the good old handshake. Now, before I was transitioning, this wasn't one that I was that familiar with, but since being Max, I've encountered it a few times. Definitely more of a formal greeting, and one that's also loaded with testosterone. How hard you squeeze, how long you keep hold of the hand for, who's gonna let go first. And I am ashamed to say that when I met our new area manager at Greg's, I did sort of judge him by his limp lettuce handshake. And then I noticed that the limper he was getting, the harder I was squeezing. And then I began to think, is this the beginning of me becoming an alpha male? Does the testosterone gel that I've been rubbing into my shoulders for the past year bypass some woke gene in me to make me want to assimilate to some sort of toxic masculinity? I mean, how fucked up's that? But don't worry, it's defo something I'm going to steer clear of in the future. Okay, cool, so moving on. Next up is the fist bump. Now, some of my mates do use this with me now and again, and I always respond accordingly. But to be honest with you, I do feel a bit cringe. It's not that I don't think I'm cool enough, it just doesn't feel like the authentic me. It's like the physical version of me saying, yes fam. So my advice would be to only partake if you feel proper comfy with it. Okay, so next up is the high five. I didn't know whether or not to include this one, because personally, I've only ever used it as an ironic celebration, like when smashing the last level of Fireboy and Water Girl. But there are some people who actually use it as a greeting, such as Toe Jam Tony, my old drama teacher at college. I remember he tried it with me once in the middle of the canteen, and I'm ashamed to say, I just left him hanging there. It's not something I'm proud of, but the whole situation was just too painful. Sorry, Tony. I hope you find your high five tribe out there someday soon. Okay, so the next one is the palm grab. Well, that's what I've been calling it. But when I did my research online, I found out that in the States, they call it the DAP, which stands for Dignity and Pride. And its origins actually began with African American soldiers in the 50s, with loads of variations, and now is something that's done everywhere. At the moment, the basic dap or palm grab is my go-to with my lab mates. Nice and comfy, not too formal, not too complicated. You do have to watch it though, because sometimes you might get reeled in for the palm grab and bro hug. If this does happen, don't worry. It's just 2 or 3 quick pats on the back, a gentle push back, and a quick release. And last but not least is the full-on hug, which, as you can guess, isn't really me. In fact, the only time I've ever hugged someone as a greeting is the time I met my mate Dwayne off the bus. His guinea pig had just been eaten by his nan's miniature schnauzer, and I could see that the poor guy just needed some love. But this one is usually reserved for people who are deaf or on the touchy-feely end of the touchy spectrum. So, there you have it. That's just a few examples of some of the greetings out there that us masculine types have to navigate. Obviously, there's loads more I've left out, like the chest bump. But you can see why I didn't even want to go there though. But before I go, I just want to leave you with another thought. It's something tricky I'm still working through. You see, now that I'm almost sorted in terms of how I greet me lab mates, I just need to work out how to greet me girl mates. Especially my best mate, Daisy. See, the boundaries that she applies to her other lab mates, she just doesn't really apply to me. In fact, she still greets me in the same way she did before I came out, with a proper big hug and a squeeze. And it just feels like she doesn't really see me as a man. Like, I do understand the parts of her might miss the old me, but it's not like I've got on a spaceship and flew to Mars. I'm right here. I've just got a new name and a different set of pronouns, and it does leave me feeling a bit pissed off sometimes. But at the end of the day, I reckon the best thing for me to do is to meet up with her in the park with a couple of cans of Monster and a box of Jaffa cakes and just talk it through. And find out what works out best for both of us when we greet. I don't want to be pushy though, because the last thing that I want her to see me as is a lad with too much testosterone.